You're listening to another video. My name is Kayvon and I am the One Call Closer. I am the founder of the One Call Closer system. And today's video is the 10 simple rules you need to follow in order to become a one call closer. And rule number one is you need to be outcome driven, not money driven. Let me just say that again. You need to be outcome driven, not money driven. Meaning you can't get on phone calls and be focused on your income or focused on the end result of you getting a new client and you getting money. That is not going to help you become a master closer. You need to be driven and focused on the outcome of the person you're speaking with, your prospect's outcome. You need to be focused on their promised land. You need to get them emotionally invested and emotionally involved in their future and their outcome, and that is what you're selling. You're not worried about if you're going to close them or not. You're now worried is if you can get them to the dream that they want, that dream life. Rule number two is you need to be goal driven, not phone driven. Meaning you got to have goals. You got to have a goal to be able to speak to your clients every single day on the phone, not phone driven. Phone driven people fail because phone driven people will say to themselves, I'm going to speak to 10 clients today. And that's what I'm going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. No. That's phone driven. How many phone calls are you going to have during the day? Goal driven is how many people are you going to impact in your life? How many people do you want to impact this week or today? Remember the difference between goal driven and phone driven. Rule number three, if you want to be an effective one call closer, number three is you need to have attitude of service. And this really results back to rule number one is you got to come in from a service attitude, meaning again, you care about the solution. You're not selling your features. You're not selling your benefits. Your clients don't give a rat's ass about how great you are. They only care about the end result, and that end result comes from the pain that they're experiencing. And that pain is something that you're servicing because you want to actually see these people get better. Whether you're selling service or products, whatever it is, you're coming in from how can I help you? Not what's it in for me personally, it's how can I help you, Mr. Prospect? What do I need to give you? What do I need? What can I do so your life would be easier, more efficient, more effective? What do I need? What do you need from me? How can I help you? Does that make sense? You got to come in from acts of service. Rule number four, like you'll see with me, you need a strong voice. You need to project a strong voice when you're asking the right questions. And if you watch any of my YouTube channels, if you watch anything that I do, you'll notice that I have a very strong voice. Because when you have a strong voice, it commands attention. It commands respect. But you got to understand when you need to be vulnerable as well. You got to know how to use your voice. But out of the gate, when you're speaking to a prospect, you need to command their attention. You need to command their respect. So you got to have a strong voice of confidence, a strong voice of service, a strong voice of abundance, not a strong voice of arrogance or cockiness, but confidence. Don't confuse those two. Rule number five, this is what the one call closer is all about, is about a script. Rule number five, you need to have a script or a plan. Whether you think you don't want to use a script, you're already using some format in your head that isn't working, it's failing you. You got to have a script that whether you're following, your salespeople are following, your staff's following. This is a script that is proven to work, that is proven to close more high-ticket clients on the phone within one call. If you don't have a script, you need to get a script. Hands down. Like, this is the most important. You need a script. You need a map to success. Just like sports teams, they have a script for the game. They have a plan of action for the game. Whether a script for a movie, everything is a plan. If you're going on vacation or you're going on an adventure, you have a plan, you have a script. It's the exact same thing on the phone. you gotta have a script. If you're not using a script, get a script. If you want the number one script that's gonna help you close more clients, then make sure you get the script that I use, because this script will literally change the scope of your business. Number 6, you gotta make a commitment to the phone, and the phone is not a distraction, it's a commitment. See, a lot of people live life and they're more interested than they're committed. Interested versus committed. Now, I will talk about that later, and you'll see a video on interested versus committed, but the reality is if you're going to become a one-call closer, if you're somebody who's really looking to close more sales over the phone, then you need to commit to it. Just like you committed to your business, or you committed to your loved one, or you commit to your sports, or you commit to your learning, you got to commit to the phone. The phone is your best friend. The phone is your lover. The phone is the person that's going to put food on the table. That phone is going to be the person that drives your business to the levels you never even thought were possible. And you need to commit to that phone. Every day, commit to the phone. Number 7 is you need to develop muscle, right? Just like someone working out develops muscle, you got to develop the phone muscle. And how do you develop the phone muscle? It's pretty simple. You got to pick up those phones. You got to get on the phones daily. Being a master involves 75,000 hours. 75,000 hours. You got to put 75,000 hours onto the phone if you really want to be a real master. You got to develop that muscle. You got to get on it daily. It's about consistency, and it's about developing that muscle. And number 8 is consistency. So it's about being consistent. So rule number 7 is developing the muscle. Rule number 8 is being consistent. If you be consistent, you will develop the muscle. Rule number 9 is you need to learn how to handle objections. And those are what we call objection handlers. So there's an objection. Let me think about it. This isn't the right price. This isn't the right time. You need to understand how to handle those within seconds, or you lose the conversation. You gotta have an objection handler. So for something like, let me think about it, and you know you've heard that way too many times, do you have 3 or 4 different ways you can handle that objection just like that? Do you have objection handlers for let me think about it? Well, you know what, Kayvon? Let me just tell you this. Thinking about it isn't a business plan, doing it. That's hardcore selling. I don't do that. When people say, let me think about it, what I say is, well, what is it that you really need to think about? Is it the price? Is it the money? Is it the time? Is it something I've done? In fact, let me apologize to you, Mr. Prospect, because if you have to think about it, that only tells me that I haven't done my job properly. Because if I would have done my job properly, there's nothing to think about except committing to it. Do you have, let me think about it, or it's too much, or it's not enough, or whatever it is, objection handlers? You need those. And number 10 is you have to become a closer. You have to understand how to close on the phone. You can never let that prospect off the hook. If you can't close on the phone, you're not going to become a closer. Your prospects are in pain. You got to identify that pain. And then you got to bring them to what I call that promised land. And you got to have the ability to close them. And in order to be able to close them, you have to understand the rules of closing. You have to understand that high ticket selling is completely different than anything else. It's completely different than the products and feature selling, than the Ben Franklin closes and the puppy dog closes. You don't use traditional sales techniques. And this is what this whole page is about, is teaching you how to go from an average amateur sales closer to the master, to the one-call closer. Again, my name is Kayvon. Thank you for listening to my YouTube channel. Come here weekly for more videos on how you can become the one-call closer.